When it comes to forgiveness, you have to forgive, not because you're doing the other person a favor. As I was saying, when it comes to forgiveness, it's not something that you have to see that you're doing it for the other person. And I'm saying this as someone that has been like offended a lot of times, and part of the reasons why, and one of the things that I'm constantly working on right now is to come to a place where I have that understanding. Just as the reading this morning, Jesus forgave his disciples, including Judas, even before his crucifixion, even before the mob came and Judas betrayed him. He forgave him because he literally just said, because he could have saved himself from whatever it is that was going on. He literally just said Judas should hurry up with whatever it is that he wanted to do. And this is because Jesus understood that everybody has to play the part that they had to play for the gospel, or for his destiny, or for his glorification to take place. Without Judas playing the role of Judas and betraying him, then Jesus wouldn't have said he selected the 12 and one of them is a devil. So it was already ordained from the beginning. So my point this morning is, when you are offended, or when you find yourself in a position where you have to forgive someone, I don't know the right word for it, but you have to see it as a form of training for yourself, especially the offenses that you find it hard to forgive. If the universe or nature keeps presenting you in those situations where you will have to forgive this particular thing, it means that the universe wants you to grow past that expectations of people, or even from life itself. And also, when people offend you, it has nothing to do with you. It's coming from their own inadequacy, weakness, just as Peter had his weakness. It has nothing to do with you. It's not because your own self, you are inadequate or you did something wrong. It's coming from that person's weakness and lack of growth in that area. And like I always say, it's not everybody that is going to meet you at the level of your growth, especially when it comes to maturity. For the fact that that person or your loved one or your family or your friend keeps falling into that temptation has nothing to do with you, and you have to understand it from that perspective, that it has nothing to do with you. It is less about you and more about their their assignment to grow past that. Because the thing is, if it is not you in that situation, that person is still going to act that way if it was completely someone else in that same situation. So it has nothing to do with you. That is just, you are just an instrument that the universe used at that point to reinforce that lesson to that person. And also, you might be at the receiving end, and you are also receiving your own lesson to actually grow past that level where you have to forgive this person. And if you're finding it hard to forgive this person, it means that that is a work right there for you to work on and to overcome. Because like in my case, I don't think there's anything that I cannot forgive. I don't. There was one of my friend that before I started studying the Bible and started knowing a lot of things for myself. There's this my friend that she said to me one time that I don't think there's anything. That was when I was going through my heartbreak and everything. I don't think there's anything I cannot forgive. And then I looked at her and I was like, "Can you forgive your husband cheating on you?" And she said, "I don't think there's anything I cannot forgive." And it's not about the husband, it's not about being a footmat. It is about the fact that when you come to a level of understanding and transformation and understand how the universe works, you will see that these things that are playing out, the right word is more like in a game of chess or in a game of puzzle, all these things has to come together for a certain situation or or a story to make sense. And it might not have anything to do with you. You might also be part of the piece of the puzzle, because in as much as we are also playing out our own story in this life, there is also on a larger scale a universal story that is going on that you cannot even relate. So in my case, I had to learn a lot. I had to focus on myself and fix my own self. And this point, I I wouldn't have it go any other way, because from that I have been relieved of the burden of having to entertain, show up every day, trying to fix, trying to do all of those things. But in the moment of the betrayal, it felt so painful. But you have to come to a point where you will dissect whatever situation that has happened and see the good in it. That everything is working out for your good. And this story is favoring you at the end of the day. And it cannot not favor you, whatever it is that you're going through, whatever offense that must have happened, it cannot not favor you at the end of the day. So my point is, forgive, not for the other person, but for yourself. And to truly forgive, you have to open up yourself and ask God, so, okay, God, what exactly do you want me to learn from this? You have to come to that point. If you're finding it hard to forgive anybody, you have to come to the point where you actually lean on the divine, seek divine assistance. God, what do you want me to learn from this in order to be free from this situation? It might be so justified. Maybe your brother killed your wife, stuff like that. And at the end of the day, maybe you even look at it and there is no lesson that you can pinpoint from your own human understanding. Then know that at the end of the day, for example, at the end of the day, there is also a universal story that is going on. The farmer might have done everything right, went to the farm when they are supposed to go, plants at the rice planting season, select the best crop, and at the end of the day, the storm came and destroyed everything they've planted. Is it their fault? No. There is also the divine